So this story starts with a little backstory. So from 2004 to 2010, I loved and lived with Bruce. He was gentle. He would leave notes in cupboards and cabinets. And right before bed, we would gleefully jump up and down. We're so excited to get in bed together and stare into each other's eyes. He was the love of my life. We were partners, friends, lovers, and we thought we'd spend the rest of our lives together. And in May 2010, we'd been living separately in different parts of the country for a year, and he decided that he wanted to break up without explanation and based on a relationship that was based on communication. This felt like betrayal. So I explode, and then I implode when he refuses to really tell me why. I harbor a volcano really inside of myself. I'm trying not to destroy the things around me. I was pinned to the floor. I was in a new city and a new field. I spent colossal energy managing my natural forces within inside of myself. I hated myself. I hated everything around me. I was love turned into pure lava hate. I was a live wire, and I employed a series of management strategies to survive. Number 1, fuck the pain away. It was wild pain. It was hate turned inwards. But since I was brought up a good, nice, pent-up Protestant, I wanted to stop hating. I wanted to face this bravely, so I tried another strategy. Try to have a relationship with someone who's available. Kristen knows this well. Be less annoyed. First guy I date I didn't really like. So that didn't really help in the annoying category. And it also didn't help that one night he showed up to bed in a bumblebee costume because he thought it would be sexy. And the other one during this period was the mad scientist artist who came along, but he didn't do stress, which is not such a good fit for someone with so much love and so much hate all wrapped up in one. So in the middle of a fight, I go up onto the roof to blow off some steam, and I see a man 4 buildings away with 2 red flags. It's the middle of the fight, two red flags. Okay, he's honing pigeons, okay, but he's also obviously working for God, because God is obviously sending me a message. So needless to say, that didn't work out so well. And at least God was on my side. He was saying, be with people who can handle all of you, who want all of you, love, hate, and all. So I employed another strategy. Go on OkCupid. Not usually a good strategy. So some people have had success. Summer 2013. So one day, I was at the Bean coffee shop, working on my computer, and my friend Ara just shows up out of the blue. I've known Ara for a very long time. He's very funny, Australian dude. We high-five, hello. Then I say to Ara, hey, what are you doing Friday night? You want to go to the movies? And he says, well, I don't know if I can do that. And I say, well, why not? And he says, well, I'm probably on a date. And I'm like, another one? Because he usually has about 3 girlfriends at a time. And then I say, well, why don't we double date? And he says, you have a date? And I was like surprised when I didn't. So I go on OkCupid to go date shopping. And and then I message the first dude who kind of comes up that looks like a cinephile. And I say, do you want to go on a double date on Friday? And he replies that he'd rather actually meet me. He'd rather meet me, get to know me. And I'm like, sure, I guess, asshole. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking, which is not a good start. But sure, fuckhead. So I'm still harboring a volcano inside of me. You've got to remember this. That's what it's like in my body. And that's how much I hate Bruce. And I call it a heavy-ass tectonic hate plate. So Saturday comes around, and finally we meet. It's 2:15. We meet at the Bowery Diner. I put the fuck you aside, and I was feeling good, good Puritan management system. So he's sitting outside, bike helmet on, and mirrored Ray-Bans on. And he stands up for hello, cordial greetings, and it's a perfect day. And I say, it's so beautiful. I feel like I'm on a boat. And he says, you belong on a boat. So, translation, you are nothing but a trophy. So I'm really like, okay. A cool breeze starts to irritate my live wires a little bit. And then he does a little fashion show. He's like, he had his helmet on, and he had his bike shorts on. He's like, you like my new bike shorts? So I'm like, yeah, the package grabbing. But yeah, the bike shorts were baggy. They were baggy, so they were kind of nice. So he takes his helmet off, but not his sunglasses, and the waiter arrives. And he asks the waiter, do you have any fresh lemonade? I don't see it's on the menu, but I remember it. And the waiter isn't sure. He said, I'll check. And the Ray-Ban man, he pauses to think, and then he says, no, I'm pretty sure you do have lemonade. We'll take 2 lemonades. And the guy's like, all right. And I'm like, well, I'll take a coffee if you don't have any lemonade. So then we're sipping on lemonade. Lemonade comes. And then the Ray-Ban dude says, see what happens when you hold your intention. So translation, I'm God. So we've got trophy, package, God. So this is what I'm doing. And this is OkCupid. So this is probably where I should have intended on my invisible jet, but I didn't do that. So it's bright. I take off my sunglasses, and because how can you really know someone without looking them in the eye? And then I ask him if he can take his sunglasses off, and his chiseled jaw gets a little bit tight, and then he doesn't really say anything. He doesn't take them off. He doesn't say anything. So we sit there quietly, and then I ask him. Decide to ask him a question, and I say, so what do you do? Tell me about yourself. And he's like, I'm an award-winning filmmaker. And I'm like, oh, great. Would it be anything that I know? And he's like, are we here to interrogate each other, Martha, or to enjoy each other? And I say, interrogate? He's like, what is this, the Spanish expedition? Yep, that's right. That's right. So we continue. And I'm just, how was your week, Martha? I'm like, that was it's a complicated question. How was yours? He's like, good. I'm on a creative role. I'm with my script. I'm like, oh, do you write alone, or do you have partners? And Greg, with the 2 G's, Greg, leans into Martha, and we know my name's Martha because he says it a lot. He says, Martha, let me tell you, I have 2 partners. And he sips on his magically intentioned lemonade. He says, I have 2 partners, God and Joseph Campbell. So he's connected. It's connected. So, but he doesn't laugh. He just stares. I think he stares. I don't know. He's got glasses on. And then I say, can you take your glasses off? And there's no answer. Again. We start talking about movies. He says, I just saw The Kings of Summer, and it was all right, he says. And I say, well, it's not my kind of movie. It sort of looks like another mumblecore indie coming-of-age story with watered-down aesthetics. And he says, well, what do you like? And I say, I like movies with edges that are passionate, that have something to say, they're urgent. I prefer red to brown. And he says, you like your movies like you like your first OkCupid dates. Red, hot, full-on wet pussy.
Party on.
That's what he says. Yes, I like them hard. Like your helmet and the cold stare behind your glasses. Now that's what I'm talking about, he says. Well, glad we got that on the table, Greg. The wet pussy thing is really important to acknowledge. He sucks on his drink, and I think he's trying to stare me down, but I can't really tell because he's wearing his sunglasses still. And I say to him, Greg, we're finally getting to know each other. What about taking them off now? He says, you know, Martha, the more you ask, the more it won't happen. So, okay, my brain sort of cracks from this blind, sexist man plate. But, you know, maybe he is blind. I don't know. The more we talk, we throw around sexual metaphors, and it's all I can do to not throw an elbow. We stand up to say goodbye. Good meeting you, I say. Strangely, that's what I say. The pent-up Protestant takes over. Then Raybanman tries to stand back to back to me. This happens. I don't know. It probably doesn't happen to you, but when you're 6'4" woman, people want to stand. And I said, look, man, I don't do back-to-back. I don't do it. I've never done it. I won't do it. It's a rule, and I won't take pictures with your short grandma either. So I don't take tourist photos. And he says, you know, I bet black guys love you. That's what he said. I don't care what color you are. I need your eyes. And if you can't look me in the eyes, you're probably looking through your rose-colored Ray-Bans and projecting your broken fantasy onto my sad face. I walk away. I'm first upset, and then I'm mad, and then I'm laughing. I do a walkabout for like 2 hours talking on the phone with my sister and friends. But the reality is, every time someone objectifies me and treats me like a brainless vagina or their future dominatrix, it hurts. But the lesson is not hurt. The lesson is pissed. That's the evolution of sad, from sad to pissed. It's not hate. If I hate you, I probably hate myself. The lesson is to be mad, to spit fire into Raybanman's face. Because as a puritanical Puritan, right? Puritanical Puritan, Protestant, I'm not allowed to be angry. And I always have to be understanding. It's been a slow road to angry. But angry is boundaries. And we live in a world where Wonder Woman, the most iconic female superhero's superpower, is an invisible jet. Because that's what women do. That's what I did. They disappear when they hate or when they're a victim of being objectified. But it's not a superpower, it's a dysfunction. Now I go on weekly OkCupid dates and not one asshole yet. Current strategy of recovering puritanical Protestant. Take care, self-love, notice the hate, give it a voice, play with the right people, avoid Ray-Bans, and get a visible jet.